Hello people of YouTube, this is Lionel Thomas 200 here, and today, this video is gonna be a little retrospective on the entire Lionel Thomas and Friends lineup entirely, and why you should never in a million years try to use them for your crappy videos. Unlike Trainboy 54, Ackley Attack 4427, what do you think? Is it time for commercial yet?
Family movie collaboration, family movie collaboration, family movie collaboration.
Current and nostalgic, but not too nostalgic.
He's the world's most famous YouTube critic. Family movie
He really rocks.
He's a critic in a nutshell, but not one bit.
Hey, don't screw yourself.
When family movies attack, if some are good, he'll hit them back. Family movie collaboration, family movie collaboration. Fluttershy Plushie taught him to be goofy.
She's a radical plushie.
It's just so cool to review family movies.
Mine still sucks.
And that's really all that there is. What you're hearing now are filling lyrics. Family movie collaboration, family movie collaboration, family movie collaboration.
Current and nostalgic, but not too nostalgic.
These are the exact same instructions that you give to someone joining a Happy Madison production. Hey Mr. Ackley, isn't this so much better than just, mocking me on your web series? Yeah, well, it's funny of how you actually got in contact with us saying that you didn't like the way we used one of your videos in my Labyrinth review. In fact, I know your outbursts are a little bit too extreme, but hey, the very least thing you could do is just file a DMCA claim against that review, breaking the fair use law, much like that time someone re-uploaded one of your videos to Dailymotion. Well, I'm just glad that you decided to let me come on over to your house just to show you how I do things for my YouTube channel, just to give you an idea on how a real professional does his job. And I thought it would be quite nice of me to do that, seeing of how one of us could learn the meaning of the word fair. Thought it would be a little bit too optimistic to assume the both of us. Great, I'll let you know when it's time to shoot another video. It's not quite easy representing someone who is a complete a-hole on the internet, let alone their work. Maybe that's something Andrew Brenner thought of when he took over as head writer for Thomas and Friends after Sharon Miller left.
And this was no easy task. Andrew Brenner, who had previous experience working on the show, particularly on creating stories for the show's magazines, and not to mention, put together some brilliant writing with Britt Allcroft and the late David Mitton on an episode from season 3 of the show, that being Thomas Percy and the Dragon, was as far out in the writer industry as you could possibly imagine. But stylistically, he actually does know what to get out in terms of children's entertainment, for the most part. The only thing he has been wanting to do since he first started working on the show is that not only he wanted to bring a lot of originality into it to make it more appealing, but also wanted to keep the charm of it while at the same time show a different interpretation to the likely viewer. So after Sharon Miller left the show after the big disasters for it we all know as seasons 13 through 16, Brenner thought he would step in to try to bring it back to its roots and started writing up episodes for season 17 around November of 2010 after working as a script editor for Blue Mountain Mystery, in which I will get to reviewing a little later. Until Hit Entertainment officially announced that after that film is officially released, King of the Railway will be the next film they will work on. So after looking at Andrew's potential in terms of writing new episodes, they officially decided to let him put together the film around the time he took over as head writer,
resulting in one of the many saving graces to the entire show we all know as King of the Railway.
With the style of a new head writer who had experience with the show before combined with a new team to work with, this film is about as promising and different as we previously experienced with the other movies. As you find yourself looking beyond the movie itself, thinking to yourself, can Andrew Brenner really bring the light back into the tunnel on this one? Well, much to everyone's surprise, that's exactly what he did for when almost every Thomas fan out there saw this movie when it officially came out.
and seeing of how we're still in Autism Awareness Month, I figure I would take a look at it to see whether or not he did bring the light back into the show. But I digress. So, let's see what almost everyone's reaction to this is all about. This is King of the Railway.
So the movie starts off with Thomas and Percy shunting freight cars around Brendam Docks, which doesn't please his Cranky at all.
You two are gonna cause an accident.
We're being careful, Cranky. Yes, very careful.
Now, something I need to bring up that I didn't get to talk about in my last review is that the animation in this movie actually looks pretty spectacular. I'm not even kidding, the animation looks much better than in the last few seasons before this one. In which I should get this out to you guys who are wondering as much as I am, the animation is done by animation company Arc Productions. And if that name rings a bell, well, it's because they've done the animation work for many movies and TV shows such as the Halo 4 movie, Hoodwink 2, 9, Romeo and Juliet, and they even contributed for a couple of years with VeggieTales.
Gotta say, they've got a pretty decent resume.
But Thomas bumped one of the cars a bit too hard, causing one of the cargo to fall off, only to reveal...
Look, a metal man. A robot! A robot?
Oh no, it looks like something Steven Spielberg might get his hands on if there's a child in there!
Silly tank engines. That's not a robot. It's a suit of armor.
So it turns out that what was in that cargo box was really just a suit of armor, just as Thomas begins to question to himself.
But who does it belong to?
Maybe it could belong to someone who just always say, nah.
So we then get a flashback in the form of a storybook explaining what happens before Thomas and his friends existed.
Godred was a well-loved king. He protected the island from invaders with the help of his gallant knights in armor.
Not to mention the vast armies of talking animals from Narnia.
But one day, the crown was stolen. The thieves were eventually caught, but the crown had been hidden.
They were gonna try and steal some of Donald Trump's money, but a crown is much more subtle because the script really wants it.
So Thomas meets up with the other engines at the washdown to discuss what the hell is going on until Sir Topham Hatt comes in to give a simple explanation.
My old friend, the Earl of Sodor, is coming home to the island after traveling the world for many years. Every engine and every station must look its best for his arrival.
Why do I get the sudden suspicion that it's gonna be like that Thomas Meets the Queen episode? But then again, Andrew Brenner did write this movie, so I guess it doesn't matter anyway.
So in case you didn't know, it is explained that Sir Topham Hatt's old friend, the Earl of Sodor, has arrived on the island, not only coming back from his trip around the globe, as we will see with Thomas in a couple of years, but also prop up the Earl's estate, also known as Renovating Castle, for its big renovation later on. Thus, we are introduced to the Earl's engine-in-command, Millie.
Hello? Are you Millie?
That's me!
I don't remember seeing you before.
That's hardly surprising. The Earl's been away for such a long time, and I've been stuck in my shed. But I'm out again now, Thomas, and ready to roll! Goodbye, Thomas!
Goodbye!
Wait a minute! I recognize that whistle! It was used on Lady back in Thomas and the Magic Railroad. So this is the first time Hit Entertainment decided to recycle something from one of their earlier movies. Well, I guess they just wanted to compete with Disney in terms of recycling stuff, huh? In fact, am I the only one who thinks that Nick Wilde from Zootopia is recycled from Robin Hood? 'Cause that would be awesome if it is.
It's almost as simple since Gorgon kept his rivalry with Spencer. Oh yeah, almost forgot about that. Turns out Spencer came back just to prove that he could be faster than Gorgon. Granted, it's much better than Spencer being the bad guy and hero of the rails, but at least he's committing to something. Even when it comes to giving Gordon a head start.
Wait, that's not fair. Nobody said we were starting.
I thought we were gonna go by the time the director says action!
Gordon hurried after Spencer. But it was hard to build up speed with 4 heavy coaches behind him when Spencer pulled off the main line towards the Earl's estate.
Where are you going? I'd nearly caught up with you.
Never mind. I'm afraid I have to be really useful now.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna see if I can convince M. Night Shyamalan to revamp his career, otherwise he might meet the same fate as the directors of the Super Mario Bros. Movie.
And if you think that wasn't solid enough, we do get this one scene where Spencer is with the Earl at the Blue Mountain Quarry, which led to Thomas thinking that he is taking a freight train there, leading to a really funny joke in this one.
Have you come to carry stone?
Certainly not. I am on important business with the Earl. Okay, Spencer, back up.
Okay, I have to admit, that was pretty funny.
It was only for about 45 seconds, but by God, that simple staging is freaking hilarious!
I gotta say, Andrew Brenner, I should definitely give you a point because it's actually quite difficult to incorporate a funny joke into a kid's movie, especially when it comes to a movie about a little blue tank engine.
Okay, Ackley, come on over. I need to think of something for my next vlog video.
Duty calls. Alright, come on over, Ackley. It's time to discuss what I should talk about for my next vlog video for my channel. Alright, well, what do you have in mind? I was thinking of taking on a Sean Brattain episode, this time on one where Thomas acts like a complete asshole to Rainbow Dash. It's almost like he doesn't enjoy the negative feedback from all of us and wanted to openly mock us with this episode. What have you got, Ackley? Well, from what I understand based on my research, one of the big names in the Thomas community, Sidekick Jason, has recently been honored for donating $2,000 to the American Red Cross to help with all the victims of the massive tornado that just hit a small town in South Dakota. I know it may be a little bit too much for you, but hey, it's for a good cause. Nah, that wouldn't work. Sean Brattain is. All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried. Jeez, I thought my Ice Bucket Challenge video wasn't subtle enough.
So the other engines began to wonder why the Earl wanted to know what's going on with so much slate and rails until Percy arrived at Brendam Docks to take a goods train for Henry since his safety valve broke. But it turns out the train is already reserved to James.
Think again, Percy. Sir Topham Hatt asked me to pull this train, not you.
When will you learn that a big engine is always right?
But because a little slapstick comedy wouldn't take a break for 1 second, Sir Topham Hatt settled on Thomas, Percy, and James taking the train together to the Earl's estate. Oh, and do I need to mention that they played the song that was previously used in Blue Mountain Mystery? No? Well, I'm just saying that here. So after that musical moment, they finally arrive safely as they discover they are, in fact, building another railway line, except this time, connecting it to the castle itself. Not to mention with a little help from Jack in the pack. Great to see them again.
Hello, Thomas. I'm helping the Earl with his new building project. He's restoring Ulfstead Castle. I better get back to my job. There's still a lot of work to do.
Not to mention afterwards, I gotta take a drink just in case someone decided to put me in a sequel.
That crate was meant to go to the Steamworks, Thomas.
The Steamworks? Oh, but what is it, sir?
If you're all so curious, why don't we take it together?
Ding, ding, ding! What do we have for her, Johnny?
So Thomas and Percy arrived at the Sordor Steamworks with the Earl to find out what was in the box. Thus, we are introduced to our new character named Stephen.
Hello, Stephen. I've never seen an engine like you before.
You mean an engine with woodworm and rust holes? Nobody's seen me in a long time.
And why I never even aged to make Ash Ketchum a bit more of a fountain of youth hoarder will always be a great mystery to me.
Actually, to the film's credit, Steven has got to be one of the best characters throughout the entire movie. Oh, not because of this incredible steam locomotive body of the original rocket that was given to him, which really stands out, not because of the fact that he's been working with the Earl for God knows how many years, but because of his acting is beyond spotless. I'm not even kidding, his acting is beyond incredible. I don't know if it's just me, but I can assure you that this is something that nobody else has ever heard of before. It's like the voice actor beyond Steven is really excited to be in a Thomas movie, so he decided to give this delightful passive-aggressive performance, which is quite frankly fascinating.
I haven't turned my wheels in years. They're turning me into an aeroplane. I'm bursting with steam now. Well, so do I, Mr. Oily. I used to pull 4 wagons at a time when I worked at the mines. This may well be my last chance. Best try to make a good show of myself.
If they can make a new Trackmaster toy on Steven with him saying every single line in this movie, rather than, well, any original phrases that someone who doesn't know the show would come up with, I would totally buy it.
Asking questions is always a good way to learn new things.
Well, all of the engines are wondering, what is your plan? Why are you rebuilding the castle? And laying new tracks? And what's inside all your crates?
Those are really good questions, Thomas.
All in good time, Thomas. You'll find out soon enough.
So it turns out the Earl wanted to keep the whole thing about the whole railway lying in the castle a surprise. Well, except for Steven, because, quite frankly, seeing of how he is almost done being restored, he decided to give all of the engines his backstory on where he came from.
Okay.
We steam engines were the latest thing, and people were worried about us. We didn't always work right. We were brand new and experimental, but we soon proved we were stronger and faster than horses.
And pretty soon I'll be on top with a certain mouse god named Mickey.
Did you ever see knights in shining armor?
No! I may be old, but I'm not that old. And before you ask, I never saw dinosaurs either.
Next you'll be telling me if I ever seen gigantic titans, because that wouldn't surprise me if I did. So after so much hard work, Steven is finally restored to his former glory, until Sir Topham Hatt comes in to see if Thomas, Percy, and James would like to help the Earl some more, until Thomas wanted to help make Steven really useful. How? You'll explain that one.
Percy, Thomas, and James climbed up the steep track to the estate. The castle looked very different now that it was being restored.
The castle looks amazing.
We've all been working hard to get it ready.
And to think, I have that new Arby's all set and ready to go, but we haven't gotten around to getting it set up.
Has the Earl asked us here to take all this dirt away? That doesn't seem like such a special job.
That's not your special job, James. Follow me!
Well, gee, I wonder what all of those questions Thomas asked earlier is going to build up to. Yep, you're seeing it right there, folks. Turns out all of the slate and rails that the Earl ordered earlier is literally going through the entire castle.
Wow, gotta say, that's a really clever idea, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, how cool would it be if they do it with some of the other castles out there in the world? That would be pretty amazing.
Do you know what my new job is, Victor?
Sorry, my friend. I don't know anything about it. Just be patient, my friend. I'm sure someone will come and tell you what to do.
I can't just sit around and do nothing. I'm bursting with steam now.
But because one character couldn't sit still for more than 2 seconds, Steven decided to head out of the Sordor Steamworks to find what job the Earl has for him. Dumb thing to do, seeing of how he couldn't just wait for him, but let's face it, I think he wanted to remind us about the stupidity during the Sherry Miller era.
Well, it does! In fact, what were you expecting? Some nutball who wrote a Happy Madison movie to show up for a cameo? Because that actually wouldn't surprise me if they really did do—
Another meeting, Ackley!
You know, I sometimes wonder if I am the only one who thinks that people making dumb decisions is not the best way to go. Okay, what is it you need now? I was looking around YouTube until I found this new show put up called Sordor Pony Railway Adventures, and all I can ask is, what the f*** is this crap? Are you sure, man? Because judging by the way I see it, it actually looks pretty good, and it even has a lot of potential. Hell, I dare even say it's better than Sean Brittain's series. Nah, I'm not taking any chances. I'm still going by my word on this one. What the f***ing hell is this piece of shit? This is like if Trainboy 54 mixed his Adventures of Phineas and Ferb with Sean Brittain with 1/3 of the elements used in Engines Tonight. Seriously, I hope you don't continue this crap, you Ha! Now that's how it's really done.
Family movie collaboration will return after these messages. We now return to family movie collaboration.
So the three engines are ordered to help with the roof of the castle by moving one support beam into its place to the next support beam in its place. I don't know why they couldn't afford a crane to do the job, but hey, they gotta do something to fill the running time of this scene.
Easy, Percy. Sorry, you both need to pay attention.
But something has gone wrong with Thomas pulling ahead too quickly, resulting in one of the support beams falling to the ground. Or, as Catacris would like to call it,
yeah, I don't know why I added that in. I just thought it would work for some really clever comedy.
Is everyone all right? I am.
I'm not. My paintwork is covered in dust. I need to go to the washdown.
Oh, come on, James. There's no need for you to complain. I surely hope you won't end up like Willie from the Temple of Doom.
Or the more I think about it, maybe that's his entire personality in the first place.
Meanwhile, we cut back to Stephen looking around the island for more work from the Earl. He looked all over Brendam Docks, Blue Mountain Quarry. He even stopped Gordon from racing Spencer.
Oh, the indignity! Hurry up, Stephen! I thought you were the rocket!
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Cool your pistons, big fella! I'm going as fast as I can.
I just wanted to see if I could beat my record for being the most false advertising character in the world. Oh, come on! That joke killed at Denmark!
So you might be thinking, what does all of the stuff I mentioned before have to do with the Earl's surprise in the first place?
It's all part of my big surprise. I am reopening Ulfstead Castle to the public.
Explained!
Oh, and not to mention that he wanted Stephen to be the castle's guide. Could have brought that up earlier, but hey, at least they needed something to hold him back for a bit. And besides, we know it would give us a break from the plot to introduce our two new streamlined engines in this movie. Oh yeah, I should talk about those two. The two new engines that appear in this movie are named Connor and Caitlin, and to describe their character personalities in this, the film decided to answer for you.
We've come for the opening of Ulfstead Castle to bring passengers from the mainland.
This is our test run and time trial.
Not to mention great marketing for the kids.
We're having a little race. Care to join us?
Well, I have to get back to Knapford, actually. Yes, I'm afraid I have work to do, too.
Maybe that could be the voice actor's excuse when they get out of a Sherry Miller episode in the show. Oh, and by the way, this is their only appearance in the entire movie. Yeah, I was expecting more from them in this movie, like maybe join Gorgon and Spencer in this entire subplot, but no, they show up for this scene and in the next second, they are completely gone.
Right.
Meanwhile, Steven found an old track to an old mine because
they wanted to pay homage to the Great Discovery?
As while Thomas and Percy were taking some freight cars down from the castle that's also out of control, Steven crashed through the blocked tunnel to the mine to get away from the runaway, resulting in Steven being trapped inside.
Boy, even by Thomas standards, that's pretty convenient.
But it turns out when Thomas goes to the Sodor Steamworks to find Steven, he realized that Steven has gone missing and decided to go find him. Not to mention they asked all of the engines that Steven met while he was looking around, and each of their answers were pretty much the same.
Yeah, he was here, James. Diesel had to tell him to keep out of the way.
Maybe if he would install a GPS into his boiler, you'll know where he is.
Meanwhile, Steven is still stuck in the mine and tries to find a way out, but there's no such luck. So the next morning, they decided to find Steven, in which both Sir Topham Hatt and the Earl are totally okay with.
Please, sir, may Percy, James, and I help with the search?
Very well, Thomas. I shall assign your jobs to other engines.
Thank you, sir.
You know, judging by that clip alone, I sometimes wonder if it could be like a lost scene from the movie The Fugitive.
Please, sir, may Percy, James, and I help with the search?
Very well, Thomas. I shall assign your jobs to other engines.
Thank you, sir.
Listen up, ladies and gentlemen. Our fugitive has been on the run for 90 minutes. What I want out of each and every one of you is a hard target search of every gas station, residence, warehouse, farmhouse, hen house, outhouse, or doghouse in that area.
You see, I think it would fit the mood quite well.
So we then get a musical number while looking all over the island to find Steven.
Because if one musical number that we heard earlier isn't enough, they decide to give us another one.
As we cut back to Steven still looking for a way out of the mine until he lost steam.
I can't move another inch.
If only I stayed behind at the steamworks, none of this would have happened. So Thomas decided to check the old mine underneath the castle, which was completely blocked, until he spots Steven's funnel right outside. Oh, could it be that Steven is in there?
Steven!
Thomas?
He summoned all his energy and...
Cinders and ashes! He is here!
Well, I guess he is! Congratulations, Thomas! You have officially won the Finding a Best Friend That You Know for Quite a While That You Didn't Know Was like a random spot where he could have gone missing award.
I know it's something that's going into your trophy case.
So Thomas managed to grab Jack and help move the rocks as he managed to get the tunnel opened up, and Thomas heads inside to rescue Steven. But beforehand, we do get this joke.
I've come to get you out of here.
Really? I was thinking of taking up mining.
That one was okay.
But the old wooden bridge started to give way and started to collapse, and with a little help from Jack, they made it out alive.
Bravo, Jack! Bravo, Thomas! Oh. Now, we must all get ready. Tomorrow is going to be a really special day.
You know, we could show you getting fixed beforehand, but we do have an hour to fill out, so... might as well save that for a deleted scene.
So Ulfstead Castle is finally completed and officially opened. Not to mention the Earl made his grand appearance in the suit of armor. Quite convenient. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention one thing. While Steven was trapped inside the mine, he said he found an old chest in there. So, what could be inside that old thing?
Steven is responsible for finding something I thought was lost forever. King Godred's golden crown!
What a twist!
Ah, you knew that was coming.
Thus, it ends our movie with Thomas and Stephen becoming good friends, and not to mention, Gordon and Spencer racing Connor and Caitlin around the castle grounds.
Well, I guess I would say this. If you ever want anything that can smell excitement into your lungs, looks like a simple little race between 4 streamlining engines could really pump you up a little. In fact, the credits are rolling right now.
But because you still wanted a bit more into your little movie, chances are you might as well get it here. Or wait until the next one.
Well, what can I say about King of the Railway? Well, I was a bit concerned about how Andrew Brenner would turn out on this one, but after viewing this movie, in the end, maybe he did want to bring light back into the show after years of crap.
Some things were major improvements from what we got in the past when Sharon Miller was around. The plot was well written, the characters are much more three-dimensional, for the most part. The animation, while a little bit rubbery, looked much better than what Nitrogen Studios gave to us earlier. And, let's not forget, the writing they brought to this movie actually felt more like Thomas the Tank Engine as we knew him in the past. You can tell they really had fun making this movie, and with what we got, it really shows. So, in the end, I thought this movie really stands out with what we got. In fact, I dare even say it's one of my top 5 favorite Thomas movies to date. So yes, I highly recommend it. Not as a generic Thomas movie, but something that will get us hooked on after so long. It's guaranteed to get you wanting more. So, I'm gonna go ahead and give King of the Railway an 8 out of 10 on the family movie collaboration number scale. Yeah, I know it wouldn't be up your alley, but I can fully understand that we're getting ourselves pumped up for what we're getting with later movies and episodes of the show. And little do we know that it's the start of the Andrew Brenner era that was about to explode.
And not to mention, Hit Entertainment definitely made the right call in bringing him in as head writer after he had experience with the show before, just to make something so incredibly well done. Maybe Andrew Brenner understood Thomas better than we thought he did. Maybe he understood it than any of us did. Maybe representing a franchise that has been around for over 70 years by a man that we'll give a lot of respect for, are more similar than I thought it would be. Hey Ackley, what you looking at? Oh, that's Andrew Brenner, man. Andrew Brenner. I know that name. Oh, well, you should. He did a lot of writing for some of the recent seasons of the Thomas TV show, as well as some of the recent movies and specials. And, what are you looking up about him? Oh, just for the fact that he finally became head writer of the show after Sharon Miller gave us nothing but crap, and led me to thinking that he was much closer to the show than we thought. That sounds pretty good. Do you, mind if I talk about him for my next video for my YouTube channel? Sure, go for it. Whatever you come up with, it'll work. Well, it just goes to show you, whatever can come out of it surprises you in the end. Hello people of YouTube, this is Lionel Thomas 200 here, and today we're going to be talking about if Thomas the Tank Engine and Andrew Brenner are gay for one another. Look out, Bert and Ernie. I mean, come on, the adventure begins? I mean, if I can't understand it, then that means it sucks, and that's all that matters. I'm so mega. Hey Ackley, where are you going? Well, Lionel Thomas 200, my man, you have enlightened me. You have opened my mind. I mean, my God, if you could take Andrew Brenner, one of the greatest writers to this date, and make a video about him like that, then I have no other choice. If you can't beat him, join him. Well, good morning, Ackley. I heard you've got some really interesting secrets from someone in the Thomas community, don't ya? Oh, I do indeed. I have found a lot of secrets that a certain individual in the Thomas community doing stuff that would anger feminists, people from other countries, an entirely different fan base, and not to mention, would get someone under house arrest. Oh, that sounds pretty steaming, Ackley. Who is the person responsible for doing such rotten stuff? Oh, the answer was pretty simple. It was you. What? Yeah, like for example, I found a few snapshots of you cheating on your ex. Oh, don't look now. It's even followed by you having a you-know-what with your current girlfriend. And let's not forget, I found an audio recording of you completely drunk and using some very choice words.
No, really. If I wanted to wipe out all of the Russians, America wouldn't be afraid of nothing anymore.
I swear I thought that never happened. Oh, what's next? Oh, I know. How about a video of you after you have beaten the crap out of my parents' dogs?
Man, dogs are f***ing jerks.
And to add the icing on top of that cake, take a look at the footage that one of my security cameras captured of you beating the crap out of my Rainbow Dash backpack. Bronies. Yeah, not so hot when a certain individual in the Thomas community is not only exposed, but just got freaking roasted, isn't it? But do you want to know who the biggest a-hole in the entire community is? This guy right here. That's right, all because of what he thought of this. I know when I first heard about this movie, I had my doubts. I thought it was going to be the one thing that would get me to leave Thomas the Tank Engine and never let me come back. But upon watching it, I realized that Andrew Brenner, who had previously worked on the show before, really knew what he was doing with this one. Not only giving us something new to it, but also have the curiosity to bring back some of the earlier fans who grew up with the show before. And I know that with him now serving as head writer of this show, he knew what he was doing with it. He's got some really clever ideas that he wanted to come up with to give the show more light, while at the same time gave the fans exactly what they want. And sure, he does have a few ups and downs every once in a while, like almost a lot of writers do, but the only thing we can understand is what we want to do. We can please an audience that will let pretty much everyone to keep coming back to. Which is more than I can say for a bunch of jerks on the internet. Maybe he could do it better, maybe he couldn't. But whatever he comes up with, we can guarantee that Andrew Brenner would come up with some really clever ideas for Thomas in the near future.
Yeah, well, he's still fat.
Well, I guess it doesn't matter anyway. Everyone on the internet now knows your dirty little secrets.
But how can I come back? How can I make them forget?
Well, if you ask the millions of people on the internet to forget over and over again, maybe, just maybe, your wish will come true. Please forget. Please forget. Please forget. Please forget. Well,
Please
maybe
forget.
the longing for dignity
Please
is really
forget.
just, at this
Please
time,
forget.
the beginning of
Please
dignity.
forget.
With that said,
Please
this is
forget.
Ackley Tac 4427
Please
saying,
forget. Please forget.
don't you forget!
Please forget. Please forget. Please forget. Please
Oh, and don't forget, there's
Please
plenty
forget.
more of Autism Awareness
Please
Month
forget.
2016
Please
coming
forget.
up soon, so
Please
be on the
forget.
lookout for that.
Please forget. I don't think it's working. Maybe I should try something a little bit more complex.
Family movie collaboration. Family movie collaboration. Family movie collaboration.
Current and nostalgic, but not too nostalgic.
He's the world's most famous YouTube critic. Family movie
He really rocks.
He's a critic in a nutshell, but not one bit.
Hey, go screw yourself.
When family movies attack, if some are good, he'll hit them back. Family movie collaboration.
They're turning me into an aeroplane!
Hey guys, this is Ackley Attack 4427 here. Thank you for watching this latest episode of Family Movie Collaboration. There was a lot of time and effort being put into this episode, and we're glad how it turned out. Thanks for watching, and thanks for making this possible. So, if you want to see the previous Family Movie Collaboration review on Sodor's Legend of the Lost Treasure, click the video on the left.
I've dug everywhere now, and there ain't no sign of that treasure.
Damn it, man! I knew I should have brought a GPS with me!
If you want to see an episode of Thomas's Adventures with Sam the Thomas Fan 1 and Ackley Attack 4427, click the video in the middle that'll take you to the 37th episode, Duncan Gets Spooked.
Duncan makes me so mad, he makes me want to go...
Cut! Cut! Cut!
And if you want to see a video on my main channel, click the video on the right that'll take you to the 3rd episode of WTPU, aka What the Pickup?
So, yeah, I think it's the exact same thing as usual. Oh, forgot one, sorry about that. So,
speaking of that, if you want to see our own content that me and Sam create, then feel free to click on one of the 2 icons that'll take you to our main channels. If you have any constructive criticisms or any advice on how we can improve our videos in the near future, or want to leave requests for what the next Family Movie Collaboration review will be, then feel free to leave them in the comment box below. If you want to see more videos on this channel coming up in the near future, then feel free to click on that subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you for my next review. Until then, take care.